Brand Day Chosen Ones. This is coming off My Thought Patterns, episode 97. 9 plus 7 equals 16. 1 plus 6 equals 7. The number that's linked to God, the Most High, Jah Rastafari, and spirituality. Okay, let's tap into this one, yeah? Um, yeah, this is my ninth day of fasting, finally completing it, and it's been a good one, you know. I've been cool, calm, and collective because I've done a lot of fast previously in order to be in this state, you know what I mean, of peace. And yeah, man, I was 142 pounds when I started. I'm now 137 pounds, so yeah, 10 stone. And when I started now, I'm 911 stone. So yeah, it's all good though. It's all good. And yeah, it was really a spiritual fast for me because I didn't want to do it, but I knew that my spirit was telling me that I need to do it. So, you know, me, I'm obedient to spirit. So I keep raising my soul regardless of the thought patterns because when you really tap in, you realize it's all about the feeling, baby. Oh, yeah. Trust me. And yeah, man, like Bob said, you know, every man's got the right to decide his own destiny. And trust me, when you really tap in, you realize that, you know, it is your right. So just just know that you've got the power, innit? Just know that you've got the power. Okay, let's tap into this one, yeah? Fully. Um, yeah, the benefits I got off it is just more mental clarity and purging out toxins. The first 3 to 5 days is always a struggle for me, but it's good though, man. You know, I was going through a lot of fatigue and that. And one thing I learned about fasting is that you have to rest a lot in order to get the most benefits out of it. So I wasn't really doing my exercises like that, but I was tapping into meditation, tapping into cold showers still, just the light exercises, you know. But one thing I learned about the practices that I do and a lot of other people do that are tapped into my type of frequency, you know, healing, baby, oh yeah, is it only really works for you and benefits you when you do the shadow work first. So okay, let's do some traveling, yeah? Let's travel down memory lane, yeah? Okay. Around this time 6 years ago, I was getting prepared for my third brain operation in 3 weeks, and I was going through a lot of stress, you know, trust me. But it's beautiful when you can travel back to the past and still stay present, you know, because it's about having emotional intelligence, you know, alchemizing your emotions to be one of love and healing. And yeah, it taught me a lot, you know, that experience, because a lot of people come out of it and still have PTSD, but I flipped it to PTG, which is post traumatic growth. And many people don't do this because of the programming and because I've got the right information. And shout out to Lady Crown out there, I got this from her. I'm naturally a researcher, so the way my mind works is that if you give me the right information, I'm going to take action on it 100%. And even when I was recovering, I was studying. And the first master teacher that I got introduced to was Dr. Sebi. That man taught me a lot. And yeah, going back to fasting, he was the first guy um, that I tapped into who was on about fasting. And I thought it was crazy when I was first tapping into him, you know. But further and further on, I realized he was saying within, you get me, because he realized the secrets of reality, realizing that, you know, it's all about upregulating your genes, cleansing out your biological structure, you know, having an intracellular cleanse. And when I really started tapping in, it changed my whole life, you know. And one of the first things I tapped into was fasting, but at that time there, I wasn't really tapping into my shadow frequency. So it was helping my physical, but my mental was still in a disarray because of the traumas that I went through. And yeah, I don't want to go too deep into the hospital experience, but I tell you one thing: I was going in and out of dimensions through the hospital, but I wasn't aware. I didn't have the information, so I thought I was going mad in there. But the Most High sent me back here for a reason. You know what I mean? To give this message right now. You know, and I'm just grateful. You know, got a lot of gratitude because trust me, I got a good attitude, baby. No joke out here. But yeah, back to the shadow work now, yeah. Shout out to my cousin Isha out there, yeah. She put me onto Dr. Joe Dispenza, and when I really learned about the mind and consciousness, yo, a lot of things changed for me, you know. A lot of things changed for me because I realized, okay, the mental and emotional body is having a big impact on our physical. So we have to cleanse that first for the practices to really work for us because it's on my mind right now. You know, I tap in David Goggins when I got introduced to David Goggins by my older master T out there. Shout outs to him. Trust me, it really impacted me in a positive light. Even though I was going through a lot of trauma, it took me around a year and a half to have real self discipline with my consciousness because of the trauma that I went through. Because what I went through is the equivalent to 3 TBIs, which is traumatic brain injuries. So yeah, man. But as soon as I gained that right information, I was really, working on myself, and I'm still working on myself diligently till this day because I found my purpose. And when you find your purpose, trust me, everything changes for you, because that's one thing that can really heal your mental. Is finding your purpose, and focusing on that. And this is random, but it's really coming off my thought patterns, yeah? Having an impenetrable energy field, yeah? I've got an impenetrable energy field because I tap into double PQI, which is positive, present, quick interactions. And when you tap into this, yeah, you realize that it really helps you on your journey because you minimize conversation because you ain't playing. You're focusing on what best serves you. And when you do this, yeah, you can shift frequency from others that aren't on your frequency, because what you do frequently is your frequency. You know me, I tap in every single second. I really live by my mantra. This is partly why I show every single face as well, yeah, because I realized that when you really tap into your shadow frequency, it either can be your greatest villain or your greatest hero. I've chose for it to be my greatest hero because of the path that I'm on, which is healing, which is uplifting my spirit and others as well, because we're all interconnected. And I'm channeling galactic frequencies from the angelic realms to this 3D dimension. And because I'm doing this, it's given me a higher perspective. Okay, let's tap into this now. So when you got a higher perspective, you realize, okay, everything's starting from within first and outside second. So, in order to escape this matrix that can be a prison for your mind, you can go way within, like me, and create your reality from there and affect matter on the outside. So, your energy is always affecting matter, even if it's at low frequency or high frequency. But the higher your frequency is, the better your reality is going to be on the outer. So this is what I'm always tapping into, being an example of somebody that's come from horrific pain, horrific trauma. But I'm really humble right now and grateful for the position that I hold because I know that it could have been a lot worse for me, And this is why I got empathy for others. But like I said on previous thought patterns, that I empathize in a higher frequency because I'm able to see through the illusions because of the Kundalini. Shouts to Penny Kelly out there. Because I tapped into that frequency, I'm able to have ESP, which is extra sensory perception. So I'm able to perceive things beyond this 3D realm. So when you um, see beyond the veil, you're able to have an expansive consciousness and realizing that, okay, not everything is what it seems. So I have to follow SG spirit guides, angels, and ancestors out there. And they've helped me tremendously, and others as well. And people out there that are connected with me in a spiritual sense, they know that I've really helped them on their journey with my energy because anybody that's connected with me, even if you say my name, the angels are around you. Trust me, because I'm really connected with that field of consciousness, which is angelic, because I've gave my life to it, and I don't regret it at all because it's allowed me to be at peace, man, which is so key. And in order to get to that frequency, most people within this society, you have to go through great suffering, you know. But one thing I've learned is that isolation leads to elevation. So yeah, man, that's what you have to go through as well. You know, a lot of isolation because most people aren't really at peace. You know, they're at peace when they have their favorite ice cream, but when that's done, they're back to the normal programming, what's going on within them. You know, this is why I say don't get caught up in the 5% expression. Get caught up in your 95% reality, because if you start doing that, then you can really start manifesting and creating a greater reality for you and others, because that's really really starts, you know, because we live in a mind world first and this after second. And oh my gosh, the sun's blazing right now, you know. But yeah, connecting with the sun, you know, I remember the shaman saying to me, um, I got a special connection with the sun, and she's right. We all have deep down, but she's right for my journey, because every time I connect with the sun, it changes my consciousness because it's sending me divine downloads through the light mineral rays, and it's helping my body, mind, soul, spirit just really uplift, you know. And many people need to start connecting with nature, because a lot of us are denatured, and this is why we've got a lot of stress, depression, anxiety, because we're not connecting with solar energy, we're not connecting with nature energy, and or shall I say, natural energy. And this is why a lot of us are suffering, because of the artificial world that we've been brought up in. But now we're in an era of information. So many things are changing for us, you know. So many things are changing for us. And it's up to us to take the right action to give us satisfaction. Trust me. But yeah, um, yeah, this my vibe right now is so cool, calm, and collective. You know, I got one more day to do, and I'm gonna walk up my mat tomorrow, um, on some alkaline food. And trust me, you know, I'll advise anybody to do fasting, but take your time with it. You know, don't rush straight into a prolonged fast. Start with intermittent fasting and go from there. Just always follow the body, because the body's got an innate intelligence. And when you really listen and really feel, you know, it's all about the feeling, baby. Oh, yeah. Trust me. You'll realize what's really going on, because it's all down to frequency. Shout out to the chickens out there. But yeah, it's all down to frequency, man. And, oh gosh, man. What else I gotta say? Yeah. I just send you all love, you know. Trust me, from the bottom and the top of my heart, because all round, because we're all interconnected, man. We're all part of source energy, and this is why I'm very mindful on where I place my attention, because wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. You know what I mean? So I watch where my attention goes, and you lot need to do the same out there, man, because you are creating reality. You know, I'm just here as a messenger, man. You know, when you go through a near death experience, it changes your whole perception of reality, because you now realize that life is so precious, and it's to be respected. Then it will respect you, because one thing I learned about the universe is that it gives you 50% power. What does that mean? That means that the other 50% is your soul blueprint. So you chose your reality, but when you become really conscious of your reality, you have a greater impact and influence on it. So trust me, this is random, you know, but it's really coming off my foot patterns. Your spine is the soul tower. So when you start really raising this kundalini up to your crown chakra, everything changes, because it starts to activate your brain in a higher frequency. You start to synchronize your brain hemispheres. And when you start to do that, yeah, you can really think clearly. And partly the reason why I fasted as well is to decrease the inflammation within the brain and body, and have superior focus on what best serves me. Because trust me, fasting for me isn't just physical, which it is for a lot of other people. It's really for my mental and spiritual health. And I'll just end it on this now, yeah? Okay. Real strength is the strength to be honest. And I'm a life path number 9. You know, it's all about truth. And trust me, when I really start to activate myself in an organic way, because I wasn't in this state, my old self, it was inorganic because of the programming. So when you activate yourself in an organic way, trust me, everything changes because you start to speak truth to power. You start to live truth because your authentic self is way more powerful than the matrix self. Way more powerful because you're connecting to who you truly are. And who is that? A true star, because you're connected to the stars, you're connected to everything. And when you get that awareness, that mentality of oneness, trust me, you'll realize that reality is not what it seems because what most people perceive is with the two eyes, not the third eye, you know what I mean? And when you really tap in, you realize that hmm, we're not really from here. We're light rays projected from different dimensions to here, you know? So that's the chickens once again. But yeah, okay, this is random, but yeah, watch the Avatar, the movie The Avatar. We really have got Avatar body here. So, we're a full spectrum of different spirits. But now I got realistic. So I make sure that, I keep tapping in every single second. I'm raising up my soul for self and others. And I hope you lot are doing the same out there. Keep on loving yourself wholeheartedly. Don't worry about what anybody's thinking of you. Because when you really tap it like me, you realize it's about what you think about yourself, baby. You know what I mean? Because that's what it really comes down to, because that's what you got to deal with all the time. And you know me, I'm really connected with the divine. And when you free your mind, you be connected to the divine. It's real life. Trust me. But yeah, that's all I got to say for this one. A bit of a different one, but cool, calm, and collective though. STS over and out. Peace and blessings.